Welcome, people, to another review show reviewing last night's game in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, 3-2, Arsenal winning. Before I get to the video, please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff to help the channel. It really does help. Now, let's get on to the game. Big game for Gabriel Jesus. A hat-trick, his first ever hat-trick for Arsenal after being here for 2 and a bit years. He couldn't have picked a better time to do it because we were really struggling in that first half. We really needed something to really separate the teams because Crystal Palace looked like the more dangerous side, even though they only had a couple of chances. And Arsenal weren't really creating anything in open play, only that free kick from Raheem Sterling. And we had a corner that was cleared off the line by one of their defenders. But in that second half, the substitutions, and I will give Arteta credit, did criticise him at Everton. But in this game, he made great substitutions, brought Odegaard on, put Timber at right back. And that trio in terms of open play is how we score goals on that right-hand side. Again, the left-hand side, flat to deceive. Even though Tierney, I thought, had a decent game, but it was his first game in quite a while. Marino, again, was disappointing. And on that left-hand side, Trossard, only until Gabriel Jesus was playing well in the second half is when Trossard came alive and he was kind of integrating with Jesus up front. So, let's hear what Mikel Arteta had to say about this performance. Mikel Arteta speaking after the 3-2 win over Crystal Palace. He said he's really happy we're in the semi-final. I said before the game, Mikel Arteta is under a lot of pressure for the simple fact that, for me, he needs to win a trophy this season. He's been here 5 years. He's had a lot of money. We've been on an upward trajectory in the league, but hadn't got over the line in terms of winning a trophy. And he's kind of disregarded the other cups in that period of time. And I think this is the season where he can't do that. He needs to try and win every competition, go as far in every competition as possible. We've had a very, very generous draw. I will say that in this competition. We have had Bolton, Preston, and now Crystal Palace at home. Don't know who we're going to get. Obviously, the draw is tonight. It could be one of Manchester United or Tottenham, Newcastle or Liverpool. So it's going to be a difficult game regardless, and it's over 2 legs as well. So we're going to be really needed to step up our performances in this competition if we're going to win the competition, because we're going to have to beat 2 good teams at least. So in terms of how he stated the game started in the way we didn't want to, with a very simple goal, and then the team had to react in a great way. They showed a lot of character and so much desire to turn things around. Even in the first half, we lacked some threat. We created 2 or 3 big chances and didn't score. I don't know if we created 2 or big chances. I do think set piece wise was our best opportunity to score in that first half. With a few adjustments in the second half, which is obviously the substitutions, we got to grip of the game and we again looked threatening. I do think the substitutions helped. And that right-hand side, man, with Timber. I mean, people are not giving it, for me, giving enough credit to Timber in terms of how he is going forward and how he changes the dynamic. He was inverting, he was overlapping, he was underlapping, he was creating problems in terms of getting into different spaces to allow the gaps for Jesus to run onto things and him being one-on-one in the game. So, yeah, I do think that was definitely a massive, massive plus with Timber going to right back. On Gabriel Jesus scoring a hat-trick, I'm so pleased for him. It's been a long period for him without goals, and today he scored 3 goals. The 3 types of goals that he scored, as many actions he was involved in, looked very, very sharp. I have to agree in that second half. Even there was a chance where he didn't score, and he turned the defender one way, and he was so unlucky. He tried to toe poke it through Henderson's legs, but he obviously went out for a corner. But yeah, it just looked more sharper in that second half. And to be fair, like I said, against Monaco, his runs were good, and his runs in this game were good. It was just obviously the finishing in the Monaco one. He sorted that out in this game. I think it's a great game for him and the team, and we can really rely on a player of that such quality. It's the same with Kieran and other players who haven't started many games today. They had a chance to do so. On how far Jesus can go now, it's now about consistency. This is a moment of spark that will bring so much confidence, not only to him, but to the team as well, that we can rely on him to change games. Now we need to take it and give him more games and chances. So we need to give him more chances, because when a player is in that moment, it's important to continue. And I'm glad he said that, because for me, he has to start up front against Crystal Palace on Saturday. There's no team selection staring you blank in the face than starting this guy who's just scored a hat-trick against the same team 3 days later, a player that doesn't normally score hat-tricks, doesn't normally score goals in general. Yeah, he's in a great mood. He's gonna be feeling himself. He's gonna try different things now. He's gonna try and make different runs, because he's feeling that hat trick, and it's against the same defenders, because that was basically their first team, Crystal Palace. So they're gonna pretty much play the similar kind of team on Saturday. So yeah, for me, he has to start up front, but I can't see him dropping habits for a Premier League game. So for me, I think he might do Jesus up front and then Havertz in midfield, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest with you. I'd rather just be on the bench. on making changes. I thought it was appropriate and good for the team to make those changes. We are right and wrong in relation to the result, basically. Oh yeah, of course. I think he had to make the changes just for the simple fact that we've got a lot of games coming up. We've had a lot of games, Christmas period. You're going to use the squad, otherwise players end up breaking down if you don't give them obviously the rest they need. I think the players, especially the ones who haven't played much, deserve to feel important, and everything that they earn with their attitude and behaviors, the way they train, the way they play, the way they have chances, to feel that it's worth it. I'm really happy for them. Yeah, I agree, man. I think it definitely is a good thing that they got a chance to play. And I think it's needed in terms of like the squad. And when you're trying to build like harmony within the squad, you have to have players that feel like they're important, even if they're obviously not going to play a large role, just because you never know when they're going to need them when it comes to like injuries and stuff. But yeah, man, Mikel Arteta obviously happy to get through to the semi-finals. And yeah, I don't know what you guys think, man. Who do you want in the semi-finals? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I think obviously people would say maybe like Newcastle might be the easiest out of three, even though obviously no games are easy in the semi-finals. But we do struggle to score away at Newcastle, man. That low block is something we haven't conjured at St. James's Park yet. So that could be a very, very difficult tie, to be honest, to get through, even though you would say that obviously Arsenal are a better team than Newcastle. But if they set up how I think they're going to set up during the game, it's going to be very difficult to break them down, man. So yeah, I'm unsure, man. But listen, it'll be up to whoever picks out the balls. If we get Liverpool, we get Liverpool. If we get Newcastle, we get Newcastle. If we get either Spurs or Man United, we get them. To win it, we're going to have to beat two of them anyway. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's Newcastle in the final, or Liverpool in the final, or them in the semi-final, or Man United or Tottenham in the semi-final or final. So yeah, it is by the by at this point. We'll just quickly get into the stats. Also has 70% possession. Crystal Palace had 30% possession. Also had 12 shots to Crystal Palace's 8. Also had 9 shots on target to Crystal Palace's 4. Touches inside the box. Arsenal 37, Crystal Palace 11. Goalkeeper saves. Ironically, Henderson only made two saves, and Raya made 6. Fouls, Arsenal 7, Crystal Palace 12, and corners, Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 2. Pretty even game, to be fair, from based off them stats. If you go to the defensive stats, total tackles, Arsenal 9, Crystal Palace 30, tackles 1, Arsenal 6, Crystal Palace 16, fouls, like I said before, 7 and 12, total yellow cards 1 each, total clearances, Arsenal 18, Crystal Palace 32, headed clearances, Arsenal 10, Crystal Palace 15, and duels 1, 46 to 55. So yeah, pretty even based off it. I mean, I do think, like I said, in that second half, we created a plethora of chances to win the game quite comfortably in the end. Obviously, it ended up being 3-2, but after a fantastic header by Eddie and Nketiah. I don't think I've ever seen him score a header like that ever for Arsenal. So, beggars luck, really. But yeah, I do think we created enough chances in that second half to score, and I'm glad we did at least take 3. Well, Gabriel Jesus took 3 chances, as well as the Sterling one, as well as the other Jesus shot that he had. So that's 5 in the second half alone that I can remember from the top of my head. So yeah, deserved winners in the end. Obviously, not a great performance in the first half, bit better in the second half, obviously. And we move on, we go through, man. But back to obviously facing Palace on Saturday in a couple of days' time. Very quick turnaround, obviously. We'll see what time of team he picks. Maybe players will come back in. I'll probably have to do a preview show tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, a quick review show there. Please like, subscribe, comment, drop a comment, obviously below in the chat or wherever you are, to say what you thought of the game, what you think of the stats, and what you think of Arsenal's chances of lifting the Carabao Cup in March, I think the final is. So yeah, let me know, guys. But yeah, that's been your boy Tops review show. Like I always say, don't hate the play, hate the game. Till next time,